The Philadelphia 76ers select VJ Edgecombe with the third overall pick in last night's draft. It was the first round. We got the second round tonight. I hope the Sixers pick Rasheer Fleming out of SJU. But, man, we got some good things to talk about, a lot of things to talk about here on NZ for 3. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new around here. But let's just get right into it, man. We got VJ Edgecombe heading to the 76ers. And to be honest, man, 100% honest, I cannot be more happy about this pick. First and foremost, VJ Edgecombe is a fantastic player. Sixers fans are going to love him. He is a dog, a gym rat. He's going to come in here immediately, make an impact, and really help this team when it comes to perimeter defense and off-ball scoring. That is something the Sixers have needed for a while. And VJ Edgecombe, with his leaping ability, with his freakish athleticism, everyone has been saying that he is the best athlete in this draft class. And if you go watch his highlights, that's, there's pretty good reason as to why they are saying that. All the scouts, the experts, fans, and all the like, they all come into agreement that VJ Edgecombe, he is just built different at his age, and I'm excited for what he's going to bring to the 76ers this season. And yeah, are there concerns when it comes to the guard rotation? I guess, sure. I mean, look, man, I would rather have depth as a less ideal fit than no depth at all. The Sixers, dude, over these last couple of years, they've had no competent guards whatsoever. Like, we're talking about Shake Milton, Raul Neto, George Hill. I'm thinking about there's probably a bunch of other players that really just were not good at all, getting significant minutes in the playoffs. So this is a good problem for the Sixers to have. And it's not like VJ or Quentin Grimes are like 6'2", 6'1", you know what I mean? Like McCain and Maxey are. I mean, they're average size guards. I mean, VJ, I think he measured 6'4", barefooted at the combine. I think Grimes is around the same height. So it's not like they're undersized or anything. I think they could guard the 3. Maybe not right away for VJ, but it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. And did you know in the NBA, if your team's roster construction could, be a little better, maybe has a couple weaknesses that will prevent you from winning a championship or making a deep playoff run, you can take one player on your team and swap them for another player. Did you know that? It's called a trade. And that's what the Sixers can do. I'm sorry if I'm sounding, like super sarcastic or anything, but just with VJ Edgecombe, man, they're like two sides as always. There's a side that is happy about the pick. There's a side, and then there's the side that thinks that this is the worst pick that Daryl Morey ever made, and that the Sixers, need to be relegated, and VJ Edgecombe is going to be, just a scrub. And I've really yet to see like a more neutral side, because I'm not on a neutral side. I think VJ Edgecombe is great, and I think he's going to help the Sixers a lot. But everyone's saying, he doesn't really, have that much of a complete offensive game, and, we have too many guards, and, yeah, like, I understand that concern about the guard rotation, but I'd rather, like I said earlier, man, I would rather have a deep roster that, isn't ideal, like, isn't perfect, as opposed to a roster that is just bare bone, that just has nobody whatsoever. I think it's good that the Sixers are building a good guard rotation in case any of them get injured, and just, for development purposes, because I think VJ Edgecombe was the right pick. VJ Edgecombe, he can help the Sixers a lot, and I am just glad that they dodged the bullet that is Ace Bailey. Now, Ace Bailey, look, I kind of feel bad for him in a way, man. I'm going to just put this picture up right here. He got drafted number 5 by the Utah Jazz. And I kind of feel bad for him because I think he's getting horrible advice. I think his agency is a scammer, is like very fishy. This is a really strange situation. And Ace Bailey, man, he, like, when it came to like some of his combine comments and like pre-draft comments, like, saying like, I can only control what I can control. Well, you can control who you represent. You could have controlled like where you went to college and stuff. He was a top-ranked prospect. It's just a very fishy situation, and a lot of it has to do with the agency saying, yo, Ace, you got to shut up, dude. You got to just, work out for a couple teams. You got to manage your reputation well so you can get drafted by the Sixers, and it's ridiculous for you to expect that you're just going to go walk on a team right away and become an all-star because everyone thinks you're an all-star and they're just going to give you 20 shots a game. That's not how it works. I mean, usually these guys who get drafted, they start out in smaller roles and work their way into the NBA, into a significant role on an NBA team. But Ace Bailey, it just was the arrogance, all of the red flags, whether it was, his game, there are red flags with his game, just like, with VJ, of course, VJ and Ace, they're not the best ball handlers in the world. I mean, I think it's being a little, over-exaggerated with VJ, but I think VJ, he's a lot better, at least a lot better at getting to the rim with his quick first step. I don't think Ace Bailey really creates much separation from his defender and relies a lot on tough shot making. And yeah, can Ace Bailey, if things go completely right, if he cleans up his attitude, if he gets a new agent, and if he embraces a role in Utah, maybe he can develop it to an all-star because he has those intangibles. But I think it's deserved that he was able to slide this far. And everyone's saying, the Sixers or Daryl Morey got punked by Ace Bailey's agent, Omar Cooper. And, I kind of disagree. And I disagree because I think the situations between the Jazz and the Sixers were completely different. And I understand Daryl Morey's reasoning when it comes to why he would pick VJ over Ace. Because let's go think from the Jazz's perspective. Danny Ainge is a psychopath. Okay, Danny Ainge, if there's one GM that plays more hardball than Daryl Morey, it is Danny Ainge. He does not give a flying, F word about who he's, what the trade offers and not biting first. He is going to hold on. He is going to get as much value as possible. And he saw a prospect like Ace Bailey fall into his lap, and he's like, if he doesn't want to be here, right? Well, whatever. He's going to be here anyway because I'm drafting him, and we're going to hold him hostage here in Utah. If he, throws a fit, you're going to play for us, or, we're going to hold out until you get a good package for you. And you don't want to mess with Danny Ainge, man. That's all I'm saying. So Danny Ainge, of course, he loves to play hardball, and the Utah Jazz are rebuilding. They are a rebuilding team. He's stocking up on draft picks. They were horrible last year. They're going to continue to be horrible, at least until, they get it figured out. Maybe they get another lottery pick this time in the top 3 or so. I think the 2026 class is looking pretty nice. So Danny Ainge is a psychopath, and he is trying to manage a rebuilding team. So it makes sense as to why he's going to take that risk on Ace Bailey because he really has nothing to lose at this point. Because the Jazz, they were expected to be in the top 3, not the Spurs and the Mavericks. So, the Jazz, they're in a completely different situation. But the Sixers, on the other hand, Daryl Morey is trying to manage making a championship contender along with building for the future. And when a prospect like VJ Edgecombe, he gives you both because he has a high floor with his defensive IQ, his lateral quickness, his ability to, read, the next pass and be a defensive force, while at the same time having a foundation, a base with his jump shot, and he can possibly, who knows, man, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the future or anything. This can go, VJ Edgecombe can, either really blossom in his first year or there's going to be some growing pains. We'll just have to see. He's only 19 years old, man. So he could either, make that, contribution immediately. I think if Nick Nurse wants to keep his job, he's going to have to give VJ Edgecombe minutes. I think, he did that with Jared McCain last year. So I think VJ, he's going to get run. I'm not really concerned with that because I think he will, he's 6'4". He's not undersized or anything. I think he could play with next to Maxey or McCain. I think there is a dynamic where it can fit with those two players and Quentin Grimes as well. Maybe they can slot in at the 3 at times. Who knows? I mean, Nick Nurse, he's definitely... I mean, the Sixers in general, they have some decisions to make. But my original point is that the Sixers, they're trying to build for the future while contending for a championship. And VJ Edgecombe, he has the floor and he has the ceiling. Now, is it peak Ace Bailey? Because peak Ace Bailey, if he cleans up his... the mess that was his draft situation and just like the the negative air around him. And if he just gets to work, if he shuts up, if he gets to work and really turns into a great NBA player, he can probably be like a top 15, top 10 player maybe at his peak in his prime, man. I mean, he's only like 18 years old as well. Yeah, is it as high as Ace Bailey? No, probably not. But VJ Edgecombe, as the freak athlete that he is, as the decent foundation that he has with his shooting, of course there's going to be a development process with his offensive game when it comes to his handle and playmaking or whatever, but it's there, and he seems to be a really down-to-earth guy who just wants to get in, work, and hoop. And that is exactly the type of culture that Daryl Morey and the Sixers are building. And that sort of plays into what I thought the reasoning would be behind VJ getting picked, as Daryl Morey is not looking for another headache. We saw the Ben Simmons drama. We saw the James Harden drama. And there are some Sixers fans who went through all of that and still thought they should have picked Ace Bailey just because he was too talented. But that was a trap, man. That was a trap. Ace Bailey was way too arrogant. He thought he was already like Kevin Durant or whatever at Texas, just a crazy, unanimous like number 1, number 2 pick or whatever. He was not talented enough to be as arrogant as he was, and he got punished for it, man. Now he's heading to Utah, where he didn't even want to go in the first place. And we'll see what happens with Ace Bailey, man. I'm not going to be like hate watching his career or anything. I think, it's just kind of like a waste of time and energy. I think a lot of it has to do with his agency. I think he's not getting good advice. It's the Ben Simmons situation all over again, where the family friend, the yes man, they're coming in, they're not holding him accountable whatsoever for what he's saying in the combine or his decision making when it comes to working out with teams and managing his reputation. That is as important in the draft process as is your talent, whether you like it or not, because the Sixers, they saw VJ Edgecombe work out. Wasn't the best workout in the world. Maybe it did not impress them as much as they wanted him to. But he was great in interviews. It seemed that, Tyrese Maxey liked him a lot. Coach Nurse liked him a lot. Daryl Morey liked him a lot. And, they took him anyway because they saw they saw already what his foundation was, and they thought it was something that he can build on. I think the foundation, that word, I've been throwing it out a lot, but I think that's really important when you're trying to not only win now, but, prepare for the future, prepare for Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain being at the forefront of your franchise. And I'm glad that VJ Edgecombe was able to fall, or I'm just happy, dude. I'm happy the Sixers got this pick, because as much as we're going to argue about, VJ Edgecombe and whether he was the pick over Ace Bailey or whatever, I'm just glad that we have something exciting to talk about, dude. Because let's remember, the Sixers could have lost this pick. The Sixers probably didn't even deserve to get this pick with how just god-awful they are. But they got number 3, and now we have a great prospect who we're going to watch for the next 10 years or so. And that's what we get to chop it up and talk about, how he's going to work in Philly and how he's going to complement the Sixers right now and in the future. Because dude, if we didn't get this pick, we'd be talking about whether they would accept Jared Butler's team option or whatever. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that they selected VJ Edgecombe. Just this entire draft in general, man, it was kind of underwhelming when it came to all of the trades, because we had so many reports that, the Pelicans are looking to move up and the Nets are looking to move up, and none of that happened whatsoever. The Brooklyn Nets, they drafted 5 players. They did not move even one of their picks, and no one really likes any of the selections the Nets made. I mean, they picked Igor Demin, I think, a number 8 or whatever, when they still had Colin Murray Boyles and Kaman Malawach still on the board. So, yeah, I don't know, man, what some of these front offices are doing, but I'm glad the Sixers went and picked, VJ Edgecombe over the absolute mess that is Ace Bailey. And I wish Ace Bailey the best. I think he's going to turn into like another JD Drew situation where maybe he's just going to get booed whenever he plays in Philly. He's just going to get completely trashed. And does he deserve it? I don't know. I have no idea, dude. I don't think there really is enough information that we have when it comes to whether it was just a complete influence of his agency or him. Maybe it's a mixture of both. Maybe it is both at the end of the day. And maybe his agency should have held him more accountable. And if he had a more professional agency and not a scammer, a guy who just wanted to make the most money in the NBA, I know that's the goal, but regardless, there's a time and place for everything. You got to get drafted to a good situation first and work your way up before you can get that, huge contract. And it seems like they just want to, bite the bullet. They want to get there too fast. They want to, jump right to it, jump right to stardom, get on that path to stardom. And now he's going to Utah. So, yeah, the second round is tonight. I'm excited for who the Sixers will pick. I'll probably only watch the Sixers pick. Maybe I'll watch the rest of the second round, but I am happy that the Sixers picked VJ Edgecombe. I think everyone was trashing the Jared McCain pick. You know what I mean? There were fans who were defending Ben Simmons after his antics and all of that. So it's a really reactionary time. But I think just give it a week, maybe a couple more weeks or so, and I think fans are going to fall, in favor of VJ Edgecombe. He's going to become a fan favorite here in Philly. I think his abilities as a defender and a off-ball shot maker, it's going to help him a lot. But I'm already repeating myself. I'll send you off. Have a great day. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.